I love that when I hear that. Not because I want to be sketchy, but there's one marketer in particular who I know, and I kind of like I adopt a lot of his marketing principles, but I use it. It's kind of like using it for good almost.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these guys are based in America, but I look at what they're doing and I'm like, cool, how can I do that but ethically, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you also like go on coaching courses and stuff? Do you have a coach? Because people will always say that's very important to have a business coach.
I've never had a business coach or mentor. Not to say that it's something that you shouldn't have. If it was something that I had, like, I think earlier on, then yeah, maybe I'd be ahead of the game right now. But I think anyway, there's so much knowledge that we all have, not just me, but there's so much knowledge that we all have that we haven't put into place yet. So for me, it's kind of like, why am I going to do this? And I'm not against business coach. If you know nothing, then yeah, get a business coach or read a book, or do a course or something like that. But there's so many things that we already know. We know that Instagram is big, and we know we can run ads on Instagram, for example.
Yeah.
So if you've got a product or you've got a service or you've got an idea, then do it to the point of failure. And when you get to the point of failure, then you can be like, okay, cool, I need a course. That's when you look for a course, or that's when you look for a coach or a seminar or something.
Yeah.
You should be pushing yourself to the point of failure in terms of everything you know. And if you're not at that point yet, then you could be like, okay, cool, I'm going to invest time.
Love it.
What I see a lot of people doing is they're running a busyness rather than running a business. And they're trying to kind of make themselves look busy rather than actually doing things that's going to push them forward in life and in business. So one of those things is learning too much. And I say this as a consultant and as an educator. People will be like, oh, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to read, Warren Buffett's book. I'm going to go to that conference. But what have you actually done in your business? Have you started the website? Have you drove traffic? Have you, done the practical stuff? So a lot of people are stuck in that learning mode.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, implement this stuff. Like, don't read another book. Implement some stuff, kind of thing. So
I love them words, Sam. I love them words, man.
Like some nuggets, dropping nuggets.
Honestly, and this is the thing, though. The biggest problem I see with, and I say small business owners, if you've got a large business, you've got a marketing team, so you ain't worried about marketing. But they're always in the consumption phase and never the creation phase.
Yeah.
And you're right, to read all the latest. Why have you got to read a book before you start looking at your business? Oh, well, if I just read this book now, I'm going to be in the right frame of mind. But what about if you're in a frame of mind for a day? What are you going to do if you feel depressed for the day after? Oh, well, and then it's procrastination. That's what it is. It's fear. And like I say, the biggest change I've seen with my clients are the ones who've taken action, the ones who've said, right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to follow you blindly, and whatever you say, I'm going to do it. And there's not a nicer feeling in the world than when I get a message saying, just got another client who's paid for 6 weeks sessions. Oh, £600. I'm like, yeah, you see. Honestly, guys, Sam, me and the guys who spoke about marketing, even last week, and actually, I laughed at them last week and said, yeah, man, we're going to speak to this Sam. He's going to tell us all these things. And I said, guys, you already know all of this. You've heard it in so many guises. There's nothing that Sam's going to say to you that you haven't heard. The difference is it's consistency and taking action, and that's it. Those two things will win. They'll win.
And I think sometimes different neurons do go off in your brain, fire off when things are explained to you different. And I always say that's why it's always good to speak to so many different people when you're trying to push something or when you're trying to achieve something. That it's best to, like I was trying to say about people being lazy. It's almost like they skim the surface. It's like a tick list. I'll speak to a consultant, tick. I didn't consume or listen to anything the guy said to me, and I've done. Next, what shall I do? I'll start a website. I don't know what it's look like. I don't know what it's meant to do. I don't know what I want from it. But can you build me a website? Is
that planning though? It's planning.
Yeah, but to an extent, and I think Alstallio will agree. Even when I started my business, some of that occurred. And definitely, I always said the first thing I ever did in business is rip myself off. I went to as a promoter at the Windsor Theatre and told the guy when we were striking up a deal how we was going to split the profits or, from the night that, yeah, man, you go and take everything from the bar and I'll take everything from the door. believing that in my head, I'm going to have a rammed out place. I'm making loads of money. Everything's there. Then we filled at 50%, and he made a killing on the bar. He made over $1,000, and I was £200 in debt. So like, that's what not pausing for thought sometimes could have done. Where just even actually trying to work out what that interaction would have sounded like when I knew I was going to negotiate with the guy. I knew I was going to discuss the terms of what I wanted. And I was too busy thinking about aesthetics and days and stuff like this that I was focusing in on the wrong thing. And I think sometimes you can just be a bit naive in business. But I think the other side is literally, it's almost straight away malpractice, because the problem with when you get into business is that you don't already have a business mindset. I didn't have the head of a director when I came into this. I hadn't sat down in countless meetings with different people. I hadn't had to really try and focus in on my vision and try and interpret that to other people. But what I did have is some ideas, and I thought I knew it all. And I just made mistake after mistake after mistake. And I think what you really need to do is just slow it down. Like I say, seek advice.
Nigel says to me.
It's like I'm hearing myself on repeat, man. Slow down, brother Wayne.
Just seek the advice and everything like that, and just like if you have a sick dog, go and take a second opinion from people, and just see what people have to say. But thank you, I want to say, Sam, why I've got you here, just to say thank you for everything that you're saying, and Nigel, actually, because you really just brought a lot of inspiration to the table, man. I hope that everyone gets to take some on from everything that you've said so far.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I would even add something there. I think we think that mistakes are bad in business, but I would argue that actually 99.9% of the ideas that you have are going to fail. You know, I get ideas every single day, and most of them are crap. Most of them don't work. Most of them need a lot of refining. And I say that even as a marketing guy. So my key to success is always speed of implementation. You know, is if you get an idea and you're like, okay, cool, I've got this song, this is going to be a hit. Because I add this bass here, or I put that there, and when I put it on Instagram and run some ads to it, it's going to do 1 million views. You need to get that song out as soon as possible, so that you can prove to yourself that it's going to work. And then when you do it and it doesn't work, it's not an opportunity for you to be like, oh man, forget it, man, I'm not going to be a musician anymore, or I'm not going to be a business anymore. You're going to say, okay, cool, I've implemented that quickly. Now let me execute the other idea that I had, and maybe this one will work a little bit better. And you can use the knowledge from the failed idea to help to educate. So now you've done Instagram ads before, so you can do that ad a little bit quicker. So the next time you do the song or the business or the landing page or whatever it is, it's going to come with a little bit more experience than before. Yeah. So what a lot of people do is they have one idea and they're like, I'm going to do this idea, but they've been sitting on that idea for 5 years, not realizing that actually, not only is the idea crap, but maybe it would have worked 5 years ago when you first had it. But now things have advanced so much since you had the idea that you implement it and it's going to completely fail. And people leave their whole entire jobs to go and pursue one idea. And it's like, no, like ideas don't really work all the time. Like you just have the speed of implementation, have an idea, get up and do it. Even if you do it in the micro, you know, do something small to help to just justify that idea. Like when I started on eBay, it was just an idea. I was like, I'm going to sell a product. My first product was on eBay within a week. And that's why within a month I was doing, $1,000 in sales a week, because I had the idea and I executed. If it didn't work, then I would have went with the other one. Yeah. So it's about speed of implementation. Have an idea, put it out there as soon as possible, and keep going, keep running with it, refining it. Yes, speak to mentors, but don't have that as an excuse of I'm not going to try this idea, because you might say something to me and I might be like, that's not going to work. But when you do it, it actually works. You know, you will never know unless you try it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sam, have you come across many black British online entrepreneurs? Like
a lot would be an overstatement. I have come across a few in terms of the ones that I actually rate and actually would like, take my hat off to and put on my platform. Yeah, not a lot, to be honest. There's one guy called The Big Marketer.
Oh,
and I put him on my platform. I think it was last year. So he specializes in like SEO and Google pay-per-click ads and stuff. So I done an interview with him on how to run Google ads and stuff like that. He's really hot on his game. But there's not a lot of us. There's not a lot. And to be honest, the best marketers are normally the ones in silence as well.
yeah, the ones you know about.
Yeah, the ones who don't have a YouTube channel or a blog, or they're just marketing. You don't necessarily hear about them. So
that goes into the question I had. Do you need to be an influencer to have credit or weight as a marketer? So, for example, you see me on Facebook or Instagram, and I got like 10 million views. Like, yo, I can market, man, because this is how many people I have. But really, might not be that good. Does he put credit behind it? I don't know.
It depends. I mean, like numbers can be in insanity, and it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So for me personally, I'm not necessarily trying to make the most amount of money in the short term. Like I was at the beginning of my career as a marketing guy. I was trying to make money because I wasn't making it. When I left my e-commerce business, I wasn't making any money as a consultant. So at the beginning, I was trying to just make money or have some passive income. Now, regardless of whether I work or not, I make money every single month. I've built up a passive income or multiple passive income streams. So if I take on 0 clients this month, I make money. If I sleep for the whole month, or if I go to Jamaica and I don't turn on my laptop, I make money. So, not even to brag, but for me, it's like the making the short-term sale is not necessarily that important for me. The reason why I've built my business in that way, where I have a lot of passive income, is because now I'm trying to just build brand. I'm trying to put content out there, and I'm trying to get known as as a brand, so that I can actually then go to the next stage of business.
The brand to push it to the next level.
Yeah,
guys.
I want to be known as one of the best marketers who's ever lived. And I'm far away from that now. But I'm not going to necessarily get there by doing a webinar and then charging everybody $5,000 for a course afterwards. It's like, I would have made a lot of money, but
wouldn't make it the best though, would it? It's like boxing, isn't it? You do. Yeah, man. Man. I'm feeling good about everything that you're saying there, because
Sam, tell the listeners about some of the brands that you are working with. I know you got approached by some quite hefty names in the public space. Can you do a bit of name dropping?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of brands in like many different capacities. I'm very impressed with some of the smaller brands actually that reach out to me. So I'm working with a brand at the moment, and they are they help companies with their Google ads. So literally, it's an e-commerce brand, and you can have a Shopify store or something like that. You basically send them your site, and they automatically create high performing Google ads for you. So you don't have to worry about quality score and all of that kind of stuff. So I love working with those kinds of brands that nobody really knows yet. So I've worked with quite a lot of those kinds of brands. Early on, I was working with a company called TRLRT. They got bought out by eBay recently as well. So I was shocked because I'd done quite a lot of affiliate commissions with them. And then all of a sudden I got an email saying your commissions have stopped.
What?
I realized that they got bought out. So so that was quite cool. Done some work with Wix, the website building platform. I know their team quite well. And I've done some work with, who else? Fiverr. I'm working to put some courses on their new platform, Fiverr Learn. And LinkedIn was the biggest one, the biggest name that I've worked with. They discovered me, I think it's about 2 years ago now. About 2-ish years ago, they reached out to me. At first I thought it was a hoax. I was like, no, this can't be LinkedIn. And it was legit. So they bought out a company called lynda.com for 1.5 billion. I think it was in 2015, which was an education platform. So they wanted me to record some marketing courses. And yeah, that was I would say a nice turning point in my career, because for the first time I got to see, because most of these brands I was working with remotely.
Yeah.
So it would just be via Zoom calls and stuff like that. But with LinkedIn, they actually flew me to LA.
Boom.
And then I was able to kind of like record with them. So some of my courses with LinkedIn, like they produced it. It was there. I had a producer and a director and everything.
Whoa.
Hair and makeup, everything.
So all you had to do was talk.
Yeah. All I had to do was just marketing stuff, and they just filmed it all and edited it all, and it was
that's quality,
a good experience, because
quality.
It taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I made some incredible connections out there. So
of course.
I was supposed to be out there in, I think it was March, but obviously coronavirus happened. So I done all of my courses.
Don't forget your friend Sam. Next time you're going to LA.
Call your twin brother.
You know what? It's funny, because I've always had a crazy work ethic. So when I'm in LA, I just work extremely hard. Like even the people there, the staff there, they're like, wow, this guy worked so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, even like I literally just wrapped a course last week.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was working with, he was like, none of our authors like are as organized as you. They none of them finished their work on time. And I'm like, yeah, I have to. Yeah. I'm working with like one of the biggest brands in the world. I'm a black guy. Yeah, you're already expecting me to fail. Yeah. I'm going to be the hardest working person you've ever seen in your life.
Boom.
So the first time I went to LA, it's like a 9-10 hour flight or something. And I had a layover. I didn't sleep the whole entire flight. And it was a night flight. So I worked the entire flight till I got to LA. Then it was an hour drive. I never drove in America before. Picked up my car, drove an hour to the hotel, slept for a few hours. Then I had one day to kind of get everything together, and I was working that whole entire day. Boom, landed, and I was recorded, and I finished the course in record time because I memorized everything.
Wicked.
So it's like, yeah, it seems glamorous, like going to LA and doing all of these, working with YouTube, and different kind of stuff. But yeah, the work that I put into it, like, is, for me, it's sacred, you know.
Well, this is some of the stuff which is creating your forever online assets, isn't it? Because whatever you create in a way of a course can then be sold indefinitely.
Yeah.
Indefinitely. So,
yeah.
You know, how many courses have you got out now? Sam, how many have you got online at the moment?
For LinkedIn, I've just wrapped course 7, and that's in the space of 2 years. So that's I've just been churning them out.
And how many have you got overall across? I know you're on Udemy and other platforms as well.
Overall, it's a lot. Maybe like, I don't know, between 20 and 30 courses or something like that.
Yeah.
So what I forgot to mention was I'd done some work with YouTube as well, which was quite cool last year.
Wow.
So I'd done something called YouTube Next Up, where my channel was selected, along with a few other channels. The theme was like YouTube Black, so it was like Black creators. I got to work with YouTube for a week, built a lot of really great connections there and stuff like that. So yeah, just putting myself out there, I've been able to connect with a lot of brands, small, medium, and large. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey.
Wicked. Honestly, and I think from my point of view, and I think I said this to you before, Sam, to see a young Black online entrepreneur doing things, being a mover and shaker, just fills me with joy, man. Fills me with joy. So, sort of respect is due. I'm going to ask one last question, actually. Obviously, we've just had the Black Lives Matter movement. Did you use your platform to speak about any of the Black Lives Matter issues, or did you kind of keep your thoughts to yourself, or were you out there?
It was a tricky one for me. It was really tricky because when coronavirus happened, it didn't really, it impacted me in the fact that I was supposed to fly and I couldn't fly. But essentially, my whole life is more or less online.
Yeah.
So the fact that I couldn't go out march and stuff like that, like I'm used to kind of just grinding and being indoors a lot. When the Black Lives Matter thing happened, when the killing of George Floyd happened, you couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
So it was like, if I wanted to work, like, cool, I'm going to put up a video now. You go onto YouTube, there's videos about it. Go onto Instagram, it's everywhere. Go onto LinkedIn, it's everywhere. So for me, it was extremely all-consuming. And being a black man, as you guys probably can relate to as well, there's a lot of things we just internalize.
Yeah.
You don't even necessarily, until that thing happened, you don't even necessarily, it's so inbuilt within you that you don't even necessarily think about it.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. There's no other alternative. And I've even, like, I'm going off topic slightly, but I've even had like girlfriends in the past or people I'm dating and stuff like that. And especially the ones who aren't black, they're like, oh, why do you have to work so much? And it's like, you don't get it.
They don't get it, man.
Don't know the struggle.
You don't understand. Like, just what I'm saying, I'm black and I want to be self-employed and I want to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, if you combined all of those things, I can't be average. It's impossible.
Recipe for failure.
You know,
It's
if I
like
want to
everyone's been given a dice and you've been given a dice that's only got ones on it. You know, you can only roll a one.
It's like I have no. There's no other alternative for me. I put all of this in there, or I start working on my CV.
Yeah.
There's no other alternative.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I've always known that as a black man, I'm gonna have to put in so much more effort and energy, and you're gonna get no's. And sometimes it's literally just because of how you look, and sometimes it's not even necessarily white people or other races that are racist.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's
people.
our own people who look at me as especially like I'm getting a little bit older now, which is good. But I've been an entrepreneur since 17. So when I put my suit on and I go into certain places, they see me as this young black guy thinking I'm trying to sell weed or trying to do something dodgy. And, you know, and it's like, it was such an uphill struggle just to prove that, wait a minute, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a professional, I'm a business person. But people often see you as what they perceive you as. So I mean, I put out a video, I didn't really know what to, that whole week when it happened, it was just crazy for me. And I tried to just continue putting content out, but I just couldn't. And I put a video out and I was like, I just expressed how I felt, basically, done some music because that's what I do. And then I took a week off. And I was like, I'm not putting content out. I'm just going to come back when I'm ready. Kind of thing. So it struck a huge chord with me, to be honest. And even now, I haven't really got the rhythm back I had just before, you know, everything had happened. So I'm still trying to process everything. But it definitely was one that got me. I didn't take part in the black square thing. Because I was just like, as soon as all of this thing dies down, who's going to really remember? You know, who's going to really care? So, and that was my mindset. I want to see what happens when everything dies down.
Everything dies down. And
now,
absolutely. And I think it is about keeping, I suppose, the knee on the throat is probably the wrong thing to say, but that's my worry. That's my concern because, you know, again, I'm an old fart. I've seen a fair few things happen in my lifetime, and there's a lot of smoke gold gets blown up people's backsides. And I mean, even in Birmingham now, we've got the Commonwealth Games, and there was a big hoo-ha because out of the 14 people on the committee, there's one black and the rest of them are white. So last week, somebody else has resigned, some white lady, says that her black colleague can take her place. But again, it's that kind of tokenism, or we'll get 3 or 4 places in there, and then the rest of the black people will be all right. And I think it's a bigger story than just having, you know, committees which are the right colour and that. It's got to come down to a level where the ordinary black person feels it, not just, oh, look, we've got somebody in Parliament. Hey, big deal. That to me is like, well, big deal, because not being funny, when they go in there, they're going to be thinking about themselves, and then everything else is then secondary. And, you know, whatever they decide to do going forward has to filter all the way down, man. Has to filter down to the ordinary black man. So,
okay, just one last question before we wrap the show. So what you're saying, do you think it's easier for a white person in the marketing industry as like than being a black person?
It's going to be controversial, but I think 1,000,000% yes. I think that there's definitely a reason why 90% of the companies I've worked with have been either in America or Canada. And why I think there's one company from the UK, and they're not even UK. They're I think they're based. They're UK-ish, but they're not based in the UK. But I haven't worked with one UK company. I've been doing this for 5 years now, 6 years.
Yeah.
But in America, like what Nigel was saying, it's kind of like being that token black person, but at the same time, I speak with an English accent.
Yeah. So you're not considered. You're like.
Yeah, it's like it's white enough.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
really the white.
That's it. That's it.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
Drop the mic. White enough, boof.
Like drop. Boom.
Oh, Sam Day, man. Boom, 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 boom.
Sam, much appreciated, brother.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, man. And we learned some
Absolutely, man.
gems. We learned some gems.
Absolutely, man.
Now we're going to figure out how we're going to market this podcast.
Yeah, man, we'll get on that, man. But Sam, thank you very much, man. Absolute
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me,
You got
guys.
anything to promote, Sam, before we wrap up? Got anything to say?
Download the formula. That's my one promotion.
Formula.
Download the formula.
Where do we find it, man? Where do we find it?
On my website, daytips.com, DEYTIPS.com. It's the formula to generating leads and sales online. It will get you to where you need to get.
Excellent.
I'm signing up, man. I'm signing up.
Excellent.
Nigel, you got anything to say, man?
Boy, because of Sam, I'm busy creating courses at the moment. Because when we last spoke, he gave me some tips, and so I'm on it. I've started. I've cut my videos down from half an hour to 3 minutes each. So this month for me, it's all about just keeping the message out there, keeping consistent. But watch this space, because September, something sexy is happening, man.
I like it. Si, you got anything to?
Yeah. Hopefully by end of the week, we're going to have the latest indie music podcast that's came out, and we're featuring a great band from Scotland, an indie band called Amor. They were brilliant. Alstallio was with me, so that should be out on Friday, Saturday-ish.
So
Looking at Alstallio, like, fingers crossed.
So weekendish.
We do music, IGLU music, on Facebook. Check us out.
All right, man. You know the score, man. Keep listening to Blackopolypse podcast media, all our lavish, beautiful podcasts that we bring out weekly. I'm your host with Simon, Nigel, and Sam Day. See you guys next week, man. We dance out to the tune as usual.
Respect, guys.
All right, man. Peace.